Looking for something fun to do this holiday season? Do you have children that love Christmas lights and experiencing the joy of the Christmas spirit? Well, I have an experience for you. Enchant by Hallmark at Nationals Park was a blast. Check out their commercial.
Make Christmas last forever. Look out my window, see a winter wonderland filled with snow, and I know it's here. It's Christmas. Grab a hand and let 'em know that you wanna take a ride on a sleigh. Let's celebrate. It's worth the wait for this holiday. Spread the joy, cheer to those wherever. Make Christmas last forever.
I have a 5-year-old daughter, and she really enjoyed herself. We did the maze, and we both went figure skating for the first time. We bought the tickets ahead of time, which I definitely recommend you doing, especially if you're driving. They warn on the website at checkout that parking fills up really quickly on event days, and they weren't lying. We saw countless people get turned away at the top of the little parking hill because they didn't buy their tickets in advance. Once you get in, after you've dealt with all of the parking nonsense, they have a really well-lit entrance that lets you know that you've arrived at Enchant. Nationals Park is a baseball stadium in Washington, D.C., so the actual maze itself was in the outfield, and what that meant is that it allowed you to see the whole entire maze from a higher vantage point in the stadium. The mission of the maze was to save Christmas. They have elves handing out passports as you approach the entrance. They let you know that 8 stars have been strewn throughout the maze, and you have to collect all 8 in order to save Christmas. You spend your time navigating through the maze and looking for these stars, and when you find them, they have stamping stations at each one of the little names on their list, and you put a stamp when you found that star. Once you found all 8, you save Christmas. Here are some of the installations that we came across along the way. The fun part isn't only for the kiddos. This guy is not lighting up very well because I didn't know that you could turn it off, but this was a common sight when you're walking through Enchant. Pretty much as soon as we walked into the park, I was being offered spiked hot cocoa with either bourbon or Baileys. I chose Baileys, but it definitely got the night off to a fun start, especially since it was cold and the warmer liquor kind of helped warm you up a little bit. The Enchant signature drink, which comes in this signature glass, they have the kids ones, which I believe I paid $14 for Taylor's, and for mine it was $20 because it had alcohol, and then of course the Souvenir Enchant glass. Now, you can choose whatever drink you would like to go into your Souvenir adult beverage, but they do have a signature drink which comes with bourbon, cranberry, orange peel, pomegranate, and lemon juice. It sounds like a hodgepodge of things, but it was actually really smooth and on the sweeter side, which is how I like my drinks. We didn't buy the ice skating tickets in advance, so we did have to wait about 30 to 45 minutes for the next slot of ice skating to open up. They only let so many people buy tickets for certain times because they don't want the ice skating ring just packed with people who are trying to figure out how to ice skate. Essentially, there would be a lot of falls and they just don't want that. So I'm pretty sure maybe had a little bit to do with COVID, but I'm definitely sure that it had a lot to do with not having a bunch of people in the ring at the same time. Having to wait for the ice skating ended up working out though, because we got fresh ice that had freshly been Zamboni'd. Also, I'd never seen a Zamboni before, so that was kind of cool too. Once we got in on our freshly Zamboni'd ice, we were able to skate until they closed. Granted, we didn't get into the ice skating rink until about 9, and they closed at 10, so it was only an hour, but still, Taylor had a great time, and when it was time to go, there was no fussing because the ice skating ring was closed. It wasn't like we were leaving just to leave. We were leaving because they closed, which made it a lot easier. So if your little people can stand to stay up a little bit later, I recommend that you take the ice skating ring that's at the end of the night, so that way when it's time to leave, there's no arguments. I don't know about your little people, but sometimes, especially when my little person is sleepy, she likes to be quite combative. Now, with Enchant being as magical as it was also a little pricey, so I do have to talk about some of the costs that came with the Enchant experience, especially when you factor in the drinks that weren't in these numbers that I'm screenshotting and showing you. If you have the excess funds though, I definitely recommend that you experience Enchant at least once. You'll definitely have a great time, I'm sure of it. That's it for this video. Happy holidays, everyone!